is the featured back. Anders, the fullback. Bennett straight up the middle. Donnell Bennett to the Raider 36.
Boy, I'll tell you, Kimball Anders, number 38, gets a sensational block, and that hole is there.
Bennett. Touchdown.
Donnell Bennett, second effort, gets in for 12-yard touchdown, 21-3.
Remember when it was a grinded out offense that Kansas City had? Kimball Anders, touchdown. Kimball Anders, touchdown Chiefs. Second touchdown for Kimball Anders.
Third down and 7 from the 45. Straight drop by Gerbach, flips it out to Anders. Can he get the first down? Yes, and a lot more inside the 40. He's got one man to beat, veers across the right side, and Kimball Anders stretches for the touchdown. 55 yards.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to 4-Minute Offense, powered by Starcade Media. We've got quite a loaded cast here, guys. You know our guys, Kimball Anders and Donnell Bennett, as always, our co-hosts. We've brought along some big boys here today, some big names, some exciting times here as the Chiefs and Steelers are ready to mingle on Sunday night. We have with us former 3-time Pro Bowler for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Casey Hampton, defensive tackle extraordinaire.
Make that 5 times now.
Make that 5. Kimball Anders correcting me as always. He's got it. And Joe Valerio still chasing Jerry Rice's touchdown reception record. He fell just a little bit short, but 4 touchdown catches and a tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. We've got it all here for you today. How's everybody doing?
Fantastic, Clint. Thanks for having me. Hey, Kimball. When you guys were playing Start Me Up, who do you picture? Santos Stevens dancing before the kickoff. Every time I hear that song, I picture Santos Stevens dancing before the kickoff. Do you guys still see him in your mind? Number 53.
Absolutely. Yep, you're absolutely right. I forgot about him actually. Now since you mentioned it, that was a good time.
Every time I hear "Start Me Up."
Well, we couldn't get the rights to the Rolling Stones version, so as you heard, so we do with what we do. So, gentlemen, we got some action here coming up Sunday night. Casey, I kind of want to throw it to you, man, because the Steelers and probably make it to the playoffs in the last week of the regular season. The Colts get knocked off by the Jaguars, and the Raiders and Chargers do not end in a tie, although they almost did. And the Steelers get in. Mike Tomlin should be up for NFL Coach of the Year, getting this team to the playoffs. Casey, what a job Mike Tomlin's done this year, man.
But he got them rolling. I definitely thought we was dead going into that game. There was no way I thought that the Jaguars beat the Colts, man. But we battled all year, man. I think we had a lot of injuries, a lot of guys banged up. Young offensive line. Being old, you know what I mean. But being can give you the good spurts. I mean, it was a battle, man. But I think those guys deserve to get in. They battled through it and got through it.
Yeah, and Joe, going to you, just kind of what have you made of this Chiefs team going down the stretch? We lose to the Bengals. We have a close game against the Broncos. A lot of people didn't expect that. Teddy Bridgewater still out. Drew Lock takes the reins, and he's running up through the middle, gashing the Chiefs like he's Lamar Jackson, but it's Drew Lock. So what do you make of this defense, Mahomes in the offense, heading into the playoffs against the Steelers?
Well, I think they're figuring it out. I mean, look, I'd like to see, them run the ball. And look, I'm talking 2 running backs here. I'd like to see them run the ball until somebody stops them. Because what that does is that opens up the playbook for Patrick and Eric Bieniemy. It opens it up. It gives them every option if they can establish the run game behind this offensive line, which, man, Brett Veach made this happen, right? Like, you think about what the debacle that was in the Super Bowl last year, right? That was not happening again this year, right? I mean, they've got 10 starters basically on the offensive line. And, Andrew Wiley's jumping in there. Lucas gets a little banged up. Remmers gets a little banged up. You got a starter starting at right tackle, even though he's your 3rd-string tackle. So I'm really proud of the way the offensive line, of course I am, because that's where I live. But, I'm really proud of the way the offensive line is rolling people over, too. And they got to go with that offensively. Defensively, I mean, look, Coach Spags has got to put the right people in the right place. I mean, that's every time he seems to do that, they're dominant. Look what they did in those last 7-8 games, before the Broncos game. he put everybody in the right spot, and great things happened there. It turned into one of the top defenses in the league. So it's a matter of if he can get everybody in the right spot. I think in the game plan.
Yeah, absolutely going to be interesting. Kimball, you got to tell us kind of how you got to Casey. You guys are both from that Galveston area down in Texas. He comes in the league a year after you retire. How did you guys kind of get connected? He's a Texas guy. You're a Houston guy.
I'm a Galveston, so we actually both from Galveston, Texas.
Yep.
We grew up in the same neighborhood back in the day. So obviously Casey was a lot younger than me, but I watched him growing up in high school. He's a great basketball player. He thought he was a basketball player, but he wound up being a football player as well. So Big Hampton being one of the guys like just destroyed the teams back in the days at the high school level and the college level. Went to University of Texas. He's a first-round draft pick. Played over 12, 13 years in the league, and 2 Super Bowls and 5-time, Pro Bowler. So he's one of our staples in Galveston. We have over, I think we talked about this earlier in the program, we have over like 28 to 29, 30 guys from one high school that made it to the NFL from Galveston ball. So wow. we got a great fruit label of talented athletes down here in Texas, down there. And
we need to get y'all on the schedule. We need to get y'all on the schedule. That's what I'm saying. We need to get y'all on the schedule.
You can't play it, not no more. We're not talking about today. We're dripping today. But back in the day, in our days, y'all couldn't touch us, man.
Yeah, nah, man. That's a good football played in Texas, man. So I already know that. And listen, just the two of y'all in itself, is enough, honestly. So.
Yeah, that's I think there's any team, any high school team comes from anywhere north of Maryland would go down there, and it would be like they were the JV team if they tried to play teams in Texas. Just from what I've seen over the years, it's amazing football down there, and it's crazy. It's crazy when you compare it to what goes on in some of the other states that think they're big in football. You go down to Texas, and it's like you're like the freshman team.
So. Big Ham, what you think about them 2 tackles from Georgia, man? Let me hear your.
Whoa.
Since nobody don't want to talk about the elephant in the room, let's go on.
Janelle, I'm up for it.
I told you they was going to do something, even though I was going for Alabama, but
I'm here for it.
Yeah. You on mute.
You on mute, big fella.
There we go.
What do you mean? What like when you ask me that? What do you mean? Like, do I think they can play, or do you think?
Yeah. I'm just telling you. Give me your spiel on the 2 tackles from Georgia. I mean, one the dude 6'8", 390,
Jordan Davis,
and then the other dude.
I just think the dude, man, he won all them awards. He did this and that, and had 28 tackles and like 2 sacks. You know what I'm saying? I just think that. I think, man, them big boys down in the SEC, man, they be pumping them up. But I think they be all right, man. But I think they be kind of overhyped a little bit. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I think them boys can play, not taking nothing away from them. You know what I'm saying? But I be thinking they be overhyping them boys a little bit. That's just what I think.
Okay,
I may sound like a hater. I may sound like a hater. Huh?
Well, your Texas Longhorns are going to the SEC.
Well, I just think we should send the Penn Quakers down there to teach them all a lesson. SEC. I think that's really what we would need to do, right? You send the Quakers down there, and who knows what's going to happen.
That's Ivy League, man. That's Joe. None of us can touch that. I'll tell you that. I don't care who you played for or what. That Penn's no joke, my man.
Well, I don't know. I was blocking Biff McNutty from Harvard, and then I'm going against Reggie White. Like, tell me how that works. Like that was a formula that I didn't count in physics class. So
you did okay for yourself, Joe, man, as you joined the Chiefs offensive line in the early 90s, and man, a part of some really good teams with these 2 gentlemen to your left. I mean, we go back to the 1994. Right before Donnell was drafted. He's still at Miami at this time, but Pittsburgh actually plays Kansas City in the first round of the playoffs at Arrowhead there. And with Joe Montana, you guys get that win in overtime. Nick Lowry kicks a field goal. Kimball, you have memories of that game, the last win at Arrowhead in the playoffs until Patrick Mahomes got here. in
Wow.
2018.
That's a long time. Yeah, I do remember that game because so short story, I went to Pittsburgh my first year and I was cut by Pittsburgh. So it was a kind of a good thing for me because when I was there, coach was a coach at the time, and one thing he told me that I didn't make this team, but he thought I could play in the NFL, and so which it reigned the truth. So anytime we played Pittsburgh, I was kind of fired up to play them because it was like we had some friends, that was on the team and some guys that was left behind, so it was always a great deal to play against the Steelers. So, and that game was one of the most exciting games because we had made a lot of plays. And who was that? Willie Davis? Who caught the last touchdown?
Tim Barnett.
Tim Barnett. Yeah, it was amazing. That was great. That was one of
fourth down.
One of the best games you could play in. And that's the type of games you want to be in as a competitor. Tough, hard, physical football game, and really with a ending, a thriller ending.
Yeah, I mean Tim was my roommate.
Yeah, Joe,
rookie year, and I was thrilled when he scored that. 'Cause I can still see the swagger he had after he scored that. You remember that, Kimball? He caught that. He spiked the ball and he was like, "Yep, that's it. I did it." So that was Tim, man. He had that swagger, but we had a lot of fun as roommates rookie year. So I was really super excited for him to score that one, and I knew once he scored that, I knew we were going to win in overtime. I just not even just in hindsight. Of course, we did win the game, but I just felt that when Tim scored that and Joe made that play, that pass across the middle, I just knew that we were going to win that game. It was destiny at that point.
Yeah, that was before Donnell arrived.
Yeah, we have a clip of that right here. Let's go to that. The Chiefs beat the Steelers in the playoffs.
All right, Montana has visited the sideline. Not a more important play has been performed by the Chiefs than what is coming up right now.
And if you go back and look at that game, the calmest person in Arrowhead Stadium is so clearly Joe Montana.
Montana surveys the defense. Montana's got a receiver in motion. Back to pass, Montana. Cocks his arm. Looks right, no one there. Looks left. Goes in the end zone. Touchdown! He's done it! Joe Montana has done it again! The quarterback with the Hollywood name has just placed a line drive pass into the teeth of the Pittsburgh defense.
If you didn't believe before, you believe now. Does he work beautifully in the pocket?
How often, when you need it on fourth down, does it come through? Does it happen just like you would draw it up in a movie? And this was one of those times.
It'll be a 32-yard attempt. Ball put down, the kick is up. End over end. It is. Hey! The Chiefs are going to Houston.
What a game! I can't believe it.
You said they brought him in to get them through the playoffs. He's taken one big step.
Everybody has their snapshots in their mind of time at Arrowhead Stadium. I remember seeing that ball spinning in the air as if it was yesterday.
Those are the moments that built what has now become this Arrowhead behemoth of noise, this wall of emotion.
Well, Casey, we can't throw all this on the Chiefs because the Steelers lead the all-time series 23-13. You were a two-time Super Bowl champion, my friend. And Ben Roethlisberger is trying to keep this party going. So tell us just a little bit about Ben Roethlisberger as a teammate and kind of how you see it as his career is kind of coming to an end here.
Man, I think Ben's had a great career, man. Tough guy, good teammate, man. You just root for him, man. You want him to do well. I just think being a lifetime Steeler and going through the ups and downs and coming in early and winning the Super Bowl early, then get another Super Bowl, then having some up and down years, and just fighting through all the adversity and on and off the field and the things that he's done. Man, I got a lot of respect for the dude, man, and I'm happy he going out on his terms. How he wants to go out, and I think that I honestly feel that if Ben plays his best. You know what I mean? He flashes. You know what I mean? He shows his flashes. He has his games where he do some crazy things, man. But man, been in the league a long time. But if he shows enough flashes, I think he can still get it done for a short period of time. Not another season, but I think he can put a couple of games together and we can be real scary, man, because our defense is unbelievable. As long as if TJ and Cam out there, we got action. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, if TJ and Cam out there, we got action, man. And when those two guys are healthy, our defense is night and day better. And I think if Ben just don't turn the ball over, man, I mean, it can be interesting.
Yeah, and Joe, I wanted to ask you kind of about Casey just mentioned TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, what the Chiefs' offensive line is looking at going up against this Steelers unit. TJ Watt, maybe Defensive Player of the Year. We know what Cam Hayward brings year in and year out, All-Pro, Pro Bowl player. What is this offensive line looking at going against the Steelers' defensive line?
Run the ball. I mean, seriously. I mean, I think that's how you slow them down, right? I mean, that's how you don't want those guys pinning their ears back. I mean, if they, you just look at the statistics. Obviously, right? The Steelers are struggling a little bit in the run game on defense.
That's really hurtful that Steelers. You saying run the ball against the Steelers, man. That hurts. I didn't mean to interrupt you. That hurts.
Case. I'm going to say this, and not just because I'm talking to one of the all-time Steeler greats. The Steelers were I grew up in Philly, and the Steelers were always my AFC team. I mean, I think back I can probably name 40 of the 53 guys from that era, starting with, Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, L.C. Greenwood, Mean Joe Green, John Cobb, Mike Webster. Like, I just go Mel Blount. Like, I could go on and on. I love to say. Trust me, it hurts to say something like that about the black and gold but I think that's how that's what you do, right? I mean, that's how teams always negated us, right? Kimball and Donnell with Derek and Neil on the bookends. What do you try to do? You try to neutralize them by running the ball. You can't let Derek Thomas pin his ears back. You can't let TJ Watt pin his ears back. They're going to get themselves into trouble, especially with, on the right side. I think Andrew Wiley's been playing well, but he's still, it's not his natural position. So I think that could be a real weak spot for us. So I think that's why they need to slow them down by running the ball. I mean, I hate to say that, but I think that's what they need to do.
Yeah, and we've been saying that all year, but they still have not committed to the run. And so I don't know if they will. I don't have faith that they will commit to the run as much as they should. And, it's about the pass, and that's what they hanging their hat on. So hopefully they will run the ball a little more.
If they don't, it's gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
They let them two dudes line up and put their hand in the dirt, cock in toward the tackle, and they hand up in the air behind them and come off that ball like, what? It's gonna be a long day, bro.
Yeah, especially if they rush Watt off of the Chiefs' right side, the Steelers' left side. And that's where you want to push Patrick, right? You want to push him to his left. I mean, that's where he's effective that way, but he's definitely less effective that way than he is going to his right. Listen to me, I'm a lineman talking about quarterback play. Who the hell am I doing? But
we tell the tackle, y'all kick slide as hard as y'all can to the outside. Y'all take care of that. Make him come in this B gap.
Yeah.
He come in this B gap. We got something for him.
Guys, you keep forgetting we don't exactly have Kimball Anders and Donnell Bennett or Marcus Allen or even Greg Hill or Harvey Williams or even Frank Moreau in our backfield. You've got kind of a gimpy Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Darrell Williams has been kind of carrying the load. We'll see what Jerick McKinnon or Gore can kind of bring. So, yeah, I think that there's some interesting aspects to that, but this offense is what it is, guys. It's a pass first, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce type offense. But you talked about, Casey, you talked about Cameron Hayward there in the middle, and you think about how things were that you anchored that defensive line for over a decade, and you were just that stalwart. When people thought about 3-4 defense, they thought about that technique. They think about Casey Hampton in the middle. Talk about kind of Cam Hayward, kind of how maybe he compares to you and your time in Pittsburgh, because, man, he's a star.
Man, Cam is a beast. When Cam came, I played with Cam, I think 3 years. He came in my last couple of years there, and I just remember seeing him. I can honestly say I didn't see this coming. He would work hard. He would come in early. He would do everything right. But the way he plays and how hard he plays, how physical he is, man. I think I don't know if he's underrated because he's been all pro, but I think, man, he's up there. Like, I think it's him and Donald, man. Like consistently to play the run, play the pass. Like, he playing D tackle, having 10 sacks. I think, man, he's the complete and total package, man. I'm telling you, man, they don't get that man enough credit, man. I think he's a Hall of Fame type of cat. You know what I'm saying? I think he's that good.
Casey, what do you think of Chris Jones as a defensive tackle? You mentioned Cam and Aaron as the all-around package. A lot of people say Chris Jones doesn't play the run well. He's going for the sacks. He plays the pass really well, gets in the passing lanes, gets his hands up. But as far as the run, he plays a little bit too high, doesn't get down in there, have a good bull rush. What do you make of Chris Jones's game?
Man, I like him. He's one of my favorites too. I don't even lie. Like the way he pass rushes, and like they say, he don't pay to run, but he's always penetrating. He's always getting in the backfield. I mean, that's part of playing the run. Make them change directions, make them go in a different direction than they trying to go. Man, he inverting the line. Man, Chris Jones is a beast, man, and I think pass rushing wise, it's not. I mean, it's him and Donald at the top. You know what I mean? Like I can't just see a whole lot of D tackles being a better pass rusher than him. I hated that move, having him out there defensive end. I thought they wasted a whole lot of time and energy doing that, man, because the dude is so he's so dominant on the inside. Why would you do that? But man, he's a beast.
Hey, Casey, I was going to ask. Can I ask Casey a question?
Of course,
Casey. One of the things I coached offensive line at the high school level for about 10 years, and people used to always ask, like, what position on defense has evolved the most since I played? Now, my last season was 96, so as a long time ago. But if I had to say, I would say that the position on defense that has evolved the most, probably tight end on offense. On defense, it's got to be defensive tackle. When you've got guys 6'4", 350 pounds, running 4.5s, how do you block people like that? Like we never, like in the 90s, we never had to we had some stout defensive tackles, but nothing like the way you see today. And when you were playing, like, do you agree with me? Like, even though you played D tackle, like, do you think that it's the position on defense that's evolved the most? Because I do, because it's totally changed the way that you've had to, as offensive lines have had to block. Because how can one guard block a guy like you? They can't.
Man, I was always the shortest defensive lineman at college and in the NFL all the time. So for guys to be 6'4", 6'5", 9, like it's crazy, man. Like it's like me and my boy was just talking about this the other day, man. It's like what these kids eating, man. It's like it's different than when we grew up, man. It's crazy, man. It's like I don't know if they started taking care of their body earlier or what they doing, man. But the way these guys are getting tall, big, and fast like that, it's just like they're coming a dime a dozen now, man. I don't know what it is. Definitely evolved. The way my size, the way I play, I'm a dinosaur. It's a wrap, man. You'll never see that again. These guys they running different, they lean, that's just the game, man. But when you're throwing the ball 56 times a game, you got to have guys that can go like that. You can't have no big guys that will get tired. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that plays a big part in it. The game has changed. I mean, I was talking about the same thing the other day. Like, Watt is an absolute dog. But, like, Chad Johnson, that was his name, the outside back from Pittsburgh. Yeah. And the other dude on the other side that ended up going
Chad Brown and is it Kevin Green?
Chad Brown and
Kevin Green.
Listen, he's no better than those two dudes coming out the edge, man. But the game was they had to play the run first and then play the pass. Now it's completely different. These dudes playing the pass first, and if they run the ball, then we're gonna come off and make the tackle. I think the game has a lot to do with, like you say, Big Ham, these guys are a little bit leaner because they got to do more running. They move in the pocket a whole bunch more and getting outside zone and jet sweep and all that stuff. So you got to be able to run. But I think the game plays a huge part in just allowing defensive linemen to be leaner, faster, and they playing on edge because it was way more double team. We was in the B gap, hitting cats in the mouth, the whole 9 yards. So I think the caliber of individual players in the position has definitely gotten faster, but I don't think they're necessarily better than the guys that we had back in the day. There were some dogs.
I think another thing too is you're looking at all these inflated sack numbers, But like me and my boy Joey Porter, that's my boy. We still were cool. He was like, "Him, give me 50, 60 rushes a game and see how many sacks I come out here." That makes a lot of sense, man. Because they wasn't passing the ball like that. I mean, and of course it's all relevant, man. The game's changed. You know, I mean, that's just part of. We always, as older people, we always gonna complain and say this, that. But that's a major statement, man. Give them boys 50, 60 rushes a game and see how many sacks they come up with in the season. Man, you know what I mean? It'd be crazy, man.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah, and Kimball, I wanted to ask you about taking on the Steelers back in the day, and when you saw Levon Kirkland or a Greg Lloyd, especially Levon Kirkland, because he was a defensive tackle at playing linebacker out there moving around. And you saw him coming through the gap and having to take on a Levon Kirkland, big number 99 out there, the big face mask grill. What did you think of that, the full cage?
Hey, you had to put your hard hat on. That was one of them games where you got to buckle up, make sure you got every piece of equipment on tight, every pad from elbow to knee pad. Everything you need, man. Those guys were awesome, though. But, one thing I would say, too, I was a kind of like Donnell, we talked about this a lot. I was pretty much a good technician as far as pass protecting, whatever. So it was a pleasure to me to just have opportunity to play against those guys and show, that I can handle those situations. And most of the time, throughout the course of a game, you're going to get beat, but we learn from that. And so it was great to play against them, and it was just a challenge for me to get better as a player as well, because that's the type of football I was used to. I was used to being a physical, hard-nosed type guy and just take on anybody as a challenge. I didn't look too much into it. I respect, and this is what I would always say. As I play the game, I respect everybody on that field. But when the whistle blow, it's fair game. I'm coming to get you. That's how I play.
Wasn't a little piece of you when it came a Steelers game and you knew Greg Lloyd and Levon Kirkland were coming up that you were just like, man, I got to deal with this all day?
Now you knew that. You say you already had your mind made up. You got to deal with it. So there was no hesitation. Because you got to get off the field. You go something because they gonna give it to you. You say that, but you knew it was coming. Even with the guys from the Saints, some guys, man, we used to practice against them every day. That was one of the big things too. That kind of got me in that mindset too, because I looked at them as with much respect to what they've done as a football player, but at the same time, I knew that if I can halfway defend myself against them, that it's gonna make me a better player.
Saying too that about Sam Mills and Pat Swilling,
Ronaldo Turnbull.
But you better have your helmet strapped on. At the end of my career, a little bit, I used to play with my chin strap unbuckled. But that was at the end of my career. But when we played them dudes there, man, you checking to make sure both of them things are buttoned up, bro. Because if not, your helmet coming off, bro.
Well, guys, in case anyone's forgotten, and we got Joe Valerio here, and we'd be really remiss if we didn't throw out just a little video here that kind of brings us back to some of the magical moments that Joe provided us. Mitch Holtis's favorite Chief of all time, the speed, the grace of Joe Valerio. Casey, you've never seen anything like this before. Mike Vrabel was catching touchdowns before. You had Hungry Pig, Don Terry Poe throwing touchdowns. You had tackle eligible Joe Valerio catching touchdowns from Joe Montana.
Mike Vrabel may have scored on the NFL's biggest stage, but perhaps the greatest of all tackle eligibles was Joe Valerio. History remembers Dwight Clark and Jerry Rice as Joe Montana's favorite targets, but Joe Cool's biggest hookups were with the 290-pound Valerio.
Paul Hackett came up to me at training camp and he said, "Joe, you're going to catch a touchdown pass this season." And I thought, wow, this West Coast offense really does open things up a lot.
Play fake by Montana, wants to throw wide open. Joe Valerio has a touchdown!
A lot of people would call me the wide receiver. I was the wide receiver, literally.
Jumping Joe Valerio, and he's only 125 touchdowns shy of the record of Jerry Rice.
If he throws it, I'll catch it. I'll try at least. I don't care if my pants fall down or my helmet comes off. I'll make sure I catch it. I don't care how stupid I look.
Play fake by Montana on first and goal from the 4. Swing pass, left Valerio. Touchdown! He does it again! The speed, the grace of Joe Valerio finds the end zone.
Joe Valerio, king of the tackle eligible.
Oh wow, Joe, you had all that dark hair back then. That's what I took.
Oh
from that.
man, I stopped putting shoe polish in and just let it go gray now at this point. But yeah, those were good memories, man. Jonathan Hayes used to get on me all the time, man. He said, "You caught more touchdowns. I'm a tight end my whole life. You show up, catch more touchdowns than I did my whole career in 2 years." So it was fun. I lived every lineman's dream. It was a lot of fun. I mean, that was to be able to do that with on the other end of a Joe Montana ball. I mean, and why I said that about looking stupid is the NFL Films reporter was asking me while I was stretching. He goes, "Hey, do you ever feel stupid out there, like falling down?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't care if I look stupid. I got 4 touchdown balls sitting on top of my bar." So but it was a lot of fun, man. That was listen. I paid for a lot of dinners too. The offensive line never let me get off that fine board. We were out at Johnny Cascone's, Garozzo's, like, "Oh, you scored another one, got your name in the paper, let's go. We're all going out to dinner." So,
Joe, they said you didn't block as hard on the first play. Because when the first play came in, it was always 14 blasts. So you kind of miss your guy, get on the edge a little bit because you know what the second play is gonna be. Is that true?
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. Exactly. No, on the first one I did run, thank God Will came out and cut blocked the defensive end because I didn't know what the hell. Well, you saw when I dove in on Monday Night Football, I didn't know where the hell I was. Like when have I ever had a football out in space in my life ever? And I dove in from the 4-yard line because I didn't know where I was. I just said, well, I'm just going to dive in. So, it was crazy town.
It was graceful though. It was definitely graceful.
Yeah, it was every lineman's dream.
Casey, did they ever try to draw something up for you, man? We saw Dontari Poe throw a touchdown here at defensive tackle. Did they ever try to figure out anything for you?
I don't want no parts of that, man. They tried to put me at. They tried to put me at fullback when Bruce Arians was the offensive coordinator, goal line. They put me in at fullback, and I came through the hole and tried to lead block up on the linebacker. Let's just say that was my last time playing fullback. I don't want. Hey man, I don't want no parts of running to nobody full speed, man. And I'm talking about I'm 2 times bigger than him. He wanted all that too. I don't want to do that. That's crazy, man.
Keep blocking. Why not a little spider 2-wide banana? Get KC out into the flat, a little touchdown.
Nah, man, I'm good, man. I'm gonna do all the hitting. I don't want to get hit. I'm cool on that.
Well, we have another clip here from Joe here. Steve Bono had the infamous take 76 yards around for a touchdown against the Arizona Cardinals. And here we go. It is Joe Valerio leading the way, looking for someone to block. Can't find anybody, but he's still looking.
Cardinals were even closer, and they couldn't get it in as the Chiefs go to the run. It's a reverse by Steve Bono, who's running away from the entire field. Nobody saw. This is unbelievable. Holy. A most remarkable development as Steve Bono play fake. The entire Cardinal team bought it. Everybody in the stadium did, including the announcers. And off to the races for a touchdown was Steve Bono.
Did they say Dave Craig?
What were you doing over there, Joe?
Joe, what if he would have threw it to you, bro?
He was, well, number one, I said throw it. He didn't throw it. And number two, when I started waving him on, he was yelling at me, slow down, stop. He goes, I can't let a lineman beat me downfield. So that's why I stopped. I started waving him on. I was like, all right, I'll let you go. Because I think they clocked Steve on a calendar when he ran the 40. So,
well, it's okay. The announcer thought it was Dave Craig, so it didn't matter. He thought that was Dave Craig.
Exactly. That play actually, if you remember, Donnell and Kimball, that play had my name in it. It was called Joe V Cutoff.
Joe V Cutoff. Yeah.
So yeah, I was waiting for that, man. I was waiting for that ball. I thought that would be fantastic. I actually blocked it too good on that.
I think it would have been better to see you run them 60 yards or 40 yards, whatever you ran, bro.
76.
Because you would have been running as fast as you could. I got everybody. Joe would have been like his shoes would have came off, everything, bro.
Well, I took my helmet off.
Here's the trivia question for everybody: what quarterback broke that record for longest touchdown run?
And
I don't think
in NFL history, because that was the longest until it was broken in the early 2000s by
Michael Vick.
Yes, Michael Vick broke that record of Steve Bono that stood for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Didn't know that.
Steve was slow. Man, he was slow.
Michael Vick was not, and that's
Yeah.
what shows you that's crazy about football. Like you have a 5'5" guy and a elite athlete of all time, with the longest touchdown runs in history from a quarterback.
That's any given Sunday now, boy.
That's right. Well, Casey, I have a question for you, my friend. Texas Longhorns, you play at Texas. They're going to the SEC. The SEC is a beast. We know that. The Georgia Bulldogs just win the national title. What do you think of Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC?
Oh, man. I mean, I think we got to get it. We're going to have to get a lot better than what we're doing now. I think that we're going to be able to compete, man. I honestly feel that way. I just think I don't know, man. I hate to be at a loss for words, man, but I'm just so, man, it just hurts me so bad to see us so down bad like this, man. And then now we finna go to a conference where, you know, man, hopefully Sark can get some of these bigger kids in and better athletes than what we got. I think we got good players. I think that the coaching has to be a lot better, and hopefully Sark will bring that, because what's been happening, man, we got the players. Like, we have guys in the NFL that's starting and playing things like that who were just average players when they're in college. We got to get those guys to play like they're NFL players when they're in college. You know what I'm saying? And I think we'll be all right, man. I think, man, it's going to be a long road, but I think we're going to be able to compete. I think we're definitely going to be able to compete.
You think Sark's the guy for the job?
Is yet to be seen. I hope he is. I mean, he's a good dude. I talked to him. I really hope he is, man. I'm tired of the way things are. You know what I'm saying? We've been struggling bad, man. But I think he can get it turned around, man. I think once you get enough good athletes in there, you know, the winning gonna come. I think the thing we've been missing for the longest time is we haven't had a quarterback. And I think that, man, in college football, man, you need a quarterback to win it. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Casey, we don't want you to feel left out here. We've been showing clips of Joe Valerio and the Chiefs beating the Steelers in the playoffs. We don't want you to feel left out, so we got a little package of you giving it to the Chiefs and Matt Castle.
Oh, no. Man, look at that push at the middle. My God.
Man, I know y'all was looking hard for them. I know y'all had to search long and hard for that one of my 9
Stop
in
it,
my
bro.
career, but I know that was hard to find. I know it's hard to find that one, boy.
Well, it wasn't in HD, so we had to go back a little ways.
How tall are you, man? How tall are you?
6'2".
That's what I'm saying.
At the combine, 6'1 3/4.
The Steelers program in your heart, 6'2".
Just as fast as these dudes today.
Combine have everybody short, though. You know that. Combine got everybody short.
Yeah, they got that one coach that squishes everybody's head down when, you know.
Joe, include the hair. Include the hair.
I tried to get my pompadour to, you know, give me a couple extra inches, you know.
My son still tries to tell me to this day I'm 5'11".
I believe it.
But Big Man, you came up that rock, bro.
got on the edge. I see your shoulder deal, all the quickness, explosion to the quarterback.
That was my younger days, man. I had a little something back then. Now.
Yeah.
That was my younger days. I can run around a little bit back then. Now.
Yeah.
What was it like playing with James Harrison on the other side of you?
Man, good dude, man. Crazy. You just didn't know. You didn't know what he was gonna do, man. You didn't know. You know what I mean? But you know one thing. He was coming, and he was coming every single play. He gonna come. You know what I mean? And he want all the extracurricular, all that. He want all that comes along with it. So he was about that. I that dude there, man, he different. He definitely wired different.
You might pick off Kurt Warner and take it all the way back to the house in the Super Bowl. You just don't know.
Yeah. And he wasn't, and on that play, he did the wrong thing. So, like you say, he gonna be somewhere. He gonna make a play. He might not be in the right place, but he gonna make a play when he there. You know what I mean?
We're talking about that Super Bowl against the Cardinals. I mean, we're coming up here in Ben Roethlisberger's final year. That's what everybody's speculating that's what's going to happen here whenever they go out in the playoffs. And that throw to Santonio Holmes and the catch by Santonio Holmes in the corner of the end zone at the end of that game there. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't know if he got that right cleat down. It looks like it's resting on his other cleat, but you see some other angles. He got it down. Great catch, great throw. One of the best in NFL history and Super Bowl history.
Man, that was a huge deal right there, man. It's like one of those deals where when he throw the ball, you like no, and then when he catches you start cheering because you seen the dudes like right in front of him, the defenders, like you know what I mean. And when he catches, man, that feeling, man, that was so unbelievable. Then they go to the replay, and then you harden your throat because you don't know if they're gonna call it a touchdown or not. So that was man. That was an unbelievable feeling because you had won the game. You know the Super Bowl was yours at that point.
I think I saw you in a Steelers parade with your shirt off, having a great time, a grand old time.
Do we have a clip of that? Where's that clip?
I didn't know if he wanted me to show that. I didn't know if I would be found here in Missouri and roughed up a little bit.
Hey man, I was fresh off of no sleep. I woke up, man. It was a bad day. We had a good time that night.
So, like Stetson Bennett the other night, and like that on Good Morning America.
He was roasted, bro. Roasted the next day. He couldn't even talk, bro.
Yeah, that was something. I get that. I think that someone from Georgia needed to guide someone else in there, someone that got a little sleep or didn't drink as much or whatever, or something. Guys, it's playoff time, so we got this game coming up. Everyone here's played in the playoffs. Kimball, Donnell, Joe. Casey, you a time or two, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champ. Guys, playoff football is different. So we saw the Chiefs handle the Steelers a few weeks ago, but kind of starting with you, Kimball, man, playoffs, it's just different. Everything's sped up. It's more physical. It means more. It's all on the line. There's no tomorrow. Kimball, this is playoff time now, so it's about to get different.
Yeah, it's very different, and it's one play at a time, and at the same time, each play count because they looking for you to make mistakes, and that's what they capitalize off of the type of mistakes you make. So when they get in a close game and it's a game like this, you can't have too many miscues. The Chiefs have to be on point, offensively and defensively, making sure they're doing everything possible to execute. And execution is one of the most important things during this time of year. And all teams are playing better during the playoffs. But at the same time, execution, offense and defense, and make sure you're doing your assignments, making sure you're on point with everything, and working and gelling together. And when something happened, that you're able to overcome those obstacles and continue to push forward and try to accomplish what you're out there trying to accomplish, and that's the win. Because if you lose, you go home. And we've been in that situation many times with the Chiefs. Having whole field advantage and losing the first round of the playoffs. I mean, we were in the playoffs for 7 out of 10 years when I was there, and we always came up short. So it's a precious moment. It's a moment that, again, I was going to ask Hamp this because how does it feel to be a Super Bowl champion? That's something that I can never say. You know what I mean? I can say, we was on a productive winning team, had a great career, but the absolute of being a Super Bowl champion is probably one thing that's important to all athletes. And I think we cherish that the most out of everything, no matter what your career was. But if you're going to say you won a championship, a Super Bowl ring, that's pretty big.
Casey, you agree with that?
1,000%, man. 1,000%. You know, that's like you people say you always dream of being a kid or whatever, but you know, it's a blessing. It takes a lot of togetherness, man. It takes a lot of luck, guys not being hurt, things like that, man. And it takes a team being together. But the biggest thing about, you know, amongst your peers being appreciated, being able to walk in the room with your guys, man, and you got your ring, man, that really make you feel good. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it's all about, man. Like being admired by your peers and not, it ain't just not having something they don't have, but it just feels good.
Yeah,
on the court.
It is.
That's what it's all about, though, man. At the end of the day, that's really what it's all about.
Well, I've said it 1,000 times. I guess I'll go ahead and say it 1,001 because Kimball, Donnell, Joe, while you guys didn't win a Super Bowl during your time here, you guys laid the foundation for what the Chiefs have become in the 90s, changing over from what happened in the 80s, the downtimes the Chiefs had, kind of after the Hank Stram era, all the way kind of through the late 70s and the 80s. You guys changed the way that football was viewed here in Kansas City. This was kind of a Royals town, and George Brett, you guys brought winning football back to Kansas City, laid the foundation through all those years, winning the winningest teams of the 90s along with the 49ers, and you guys are kind of why we're in this position we are today. Andy Reid came here to Kansas City saying he loved the culture, the winning culture that had been brought here to Kansas City. That's because of you guys. You guys are the reason I believe that Andy Reid chose to come here. If this continued as a losing culture, I don't think he makes the decision to come here. So because Andy Reid came here, they drafted Patrick Mahomes. We win Super Bowl 54. You guys laid that foundation for that to happen. So that Super Bowl, while it is theirs and they have rings, the organization gave you a ring because of you and because of what you did for this organization in this city. And so that Super Bowl is just as much yours as it is theirs.
But it ain't the same thing.
It ain't the same.
No, it's not the same thing.
I love it. I love it. I wear my ring with all the pride. I appreciate that. That pat me on the back, all that good stuff. But it ain't the same thing.
We were robbed of seeing how you guys would react to the Super Bowl parade.
So they gave everybody who a former player from the Chiefs a ring.
The ambassadors.
The ambassador group. So, you know, in case that's the one thing about Kansas City, Case, the ambassador group here is robust and vibrant. Like there's a lot of players that stay and they spend time in the community. They love the city. And I was actually, while, you know, it would have been nice to have your own. I think it was a really good gesture and says a lot about the Hunt family that they would do that, right? For the guys that stay in town, which was really cool. And I agree with Casey. I mean, you know, football is the ultimate team sport. Like that's what makes a Super Bowl ring special.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally, like, if you can name for me a better team sport than football, have at it, because it doesn't exist. And I think that's why Super Bowl rings are so different than any other championship trophy. You know, basketball, you can do it. You know, I know it's a team sport, but, you know, you can do it with 2 or 3 guys, you know, and some good coaching. Yeah. Baseball's got a lot of individual moments, you know, at the bat by yourself, you know, even to a certain degree, soccer, you know, those other big team sports. But man, football, everybody's got a role. Like, you're all so different. You look at Casey as a D lineman, me as O line, Donnell and Kimball as running backs. Like, you got quarterbacks, you got wide receivers. Like, it's this group of incredibly diverse and different roles and people coming together to win and to get to the pinnacle. That's why I agree with Donnell and Kimball too. It's like, we didn't win it. Like, even though we helped build it, that team won it because they were the team that did it. And which is really cool.
We have a request here. Casey, do you have any of your rings handy? We have a request from our Facebook page. That's not the one. I was looking for this one. It says, Casey, can we see the ring if you have one?
I don't have them on me right now.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
He have to go on the vote upstairs.
Yeah,
They're in a pawn shop, aren't they?
I'll take Casey. I'll take him off the spot there, right? I went into sales after I retired from football. All I ever wanted to do was have a Super Bowl ring in a sales meeting and go like this. Oh, you need to buy our product. Like that's it. Like that's all I ever wanted to do. Like go like what is this? Oh yeah, my Chiefs Super Bowl ring. You know, like that's all I ever wanted to do in a sales meeting, but I never got the chance to. Well, damn.
Guys, we'll see. This has been such a blast, man. This has been so much fun. We got Chiefs Steelers on Sunday night. It's going to be there for the world to see. Arrowhead Stadium is going to be lit up. A lot of Steelers fans come out of the woodworks from like Overland Park, Leawood, and Shawnee. They'll file in, and we'll let them in, and they can wave their terrible towels, and we'll have a good one because it's a great franchise. Mike Tomlin, I have the utmost respect, Case, for what Mike Tomlin has done there. The culture in Pittsburgh is one of the winningest. It's one of the best in sports. So the Chiefs are just trying to maintain that gold standard that they're trying to set as well right now. So guys, this is going to be fun Sunday night, is it not?
Yeah, I'll be up there.
Awesome, really.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised with the outcome.
Whoa.
I won't. I won't be surprised.
Is this a prediction? Is this prediction time? Are we doing it?
How are they going to flip the first meeting 36-10 and get a Steelers win? How's it going to happen, Casey? Inform us.
Man, Watt gonna go crazy. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. He gonna. I'm telling you, our defense got embarrassed last time, and I think they're gonna show up this time, man. I feel that, man. I feel we're gonna show up on defense this time, and Ben ain't gonna turn it over.
Well, I'm not saying
we're gonna win. I'm just saying we're not gonna get smashed like we did last time. Let's just say that.
Well, I'm gonna call Allen myself and tell him to go get 65 garbage bags and put them in everybody's locker. If you don't win the game, put all your belongings in this garbage bag. That's what
Mahomes leaves town. We'll blame Donnell Bennett for coming up with that idea when they ship out Patrick Mahomes because he didn't win the playoff.
Yeah,
man, listen, bro. It's gonna be physical, bro. I definitely believe that. Like you say, man, we gotta find a way to control them two dudes on the edge, man, and that's got to be done early and often because that dude motor he just don't quit, bro. He just don't quit. So if we can find a way to minimize his production in the game, I say we win convincingly. But if he's a major contributor in the game, it's gonna be a long afternoon.
Well, Casey said the Steelers defense is really going to show up this time, and I've got Roger Goodell on speed dial. So if I see a big number 98 out there that doesn't look like he goes with the rest of the guys, doesn't look like he belongs this 2022, I'm calling up. I'm saying Casey Hampton's not eligible. You got to get him out of there.
No. We want him out there.
I say they was gonna do better. Without me, they're not gonna do better. If I'm out there, they're not doing better. I'm gonna let you know that. I ain't gonna go out there and wait for
Casey out there right now.
Yeah,
Casey Hampton, if they get Casey Hampton, we get Joe Valerio tackle eligible here.
That's true.
I got one play. I got one.
First play, all you got to do is cut him. Because you cut him on the first play, he go tap his helmet like this. Don't give me
no points to that.
I just think about all the teams that switched to the 3-4 because of Casey, but guess what everybody would say? You'd say, well, we want to switch to the 3-4, and guess what every single fan would say, every single coach would say, well, we don't have Casey Hampton or Vince Wilfork, I guess. You had to have one of those two to run it successfully, right?
You got to have that dude right there that's going to play. Yeah. He really plays the center and two gaps.
Yeah. And nobody runs that defense. The 3-4 is like out with the bathwater now because nobody, you got to have the athletic.
They run it, but they don't. The nose guard on two gap no more like we used to. Exactly. They just hit a gap, man. That's anybody can do that. Just run into a gap. That's the easiest thing in the world to do.
Chiefs tried to do it with an aging Kelly Gregg from the Ravens. He had his time, but when the Chiefs tried
Kelly Gregg was a beast.
Wow,
he was with the Ravens.
A beast in his day in the Ravens. He was a beast. I give him his card. He was a beast.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's good. That's true, guys. This has been a blast. Thank everybody for coming on today, guys. This has been so much fun. We took so much time from you, Joe and Casey. Thanks for hopping on with us. Can't wait to do it again. Good luck to the Steelers. Good luck, and let's have a good game on Sunday night, guys. Thanks so much for joining us here on Kingdom and here on 4 Minute Offense. We appreciate it.
Thanks for hanging with us, fellas.
Great to see you guys.
Appreciate it.
Casey, nice to meet you, Case. Take care.
All right, man.
Be well.
Peace.
Till next time.